Different video for you today, something completely different. We're not going to move. This is just me sharing a couple of little breath exercises with you. It's not even a full pranayama, not a controlled breathing exercise as we would in our yoga practice or even our pranayama practice. These are just a couple of breath techniques that you can use at any time, whether it's to help you feel calm, help you go to sleep, or just help you unwind after maybe a busy time. I'm aware people are starting to get a little bit anxious. Yeah, things are happening in the news again that can be unsettling. So I wouldn't say avoid the news altogether, but limit the amount that you're watching it. And yeah, avoid social media as much as possible. So saying that, there's a couple of practices, and this one I was reminded of the other day speaking to my daughter. She, as a young 5, 6 year old, that kind of age, she struggled with getting to sleep, and which a lot of kids do. But her struggles were she wasn't an anxious child at any other time, but when getting to sleep is when the mind would come up with lots of little stories for her, and she would get very anxious. And in particular, with the lead up to Christmas and the idea of having to, yeah, act a certain way, be a certain way, that maybe Santa was going to come or maybe not. These kind of things escalated in her mind at night. And especially the idea of somebody coming into the house, a stranger coming into the house at night, used to send her a bit on edge. So started years ago a little breath practice with her that yeah, she still does occasionally, which is possibly one of the most simple. So whether it's something that you might like, or maybe if you've children or young children who are finding it difficult to get to sleep, it's instead of telling them to count sheep, which I never understood as a kid, being told to count sheep. This is like a breathing equivalent. So, and all it is breathing in a shape. And so imagining the pattern of a shape. And so for Freya, it was a square that we worked on. And this, yeah, I've seen it spoken about in other circles and I've read about it. The squares usually, yeah, there's two that are common, is a square and a circle. We've done circle in class, I think. So a square, imagine a box, imagine a square. You're just visualizing a square in your eye, in your mind's eye. So, and for, there's two ways you can do this. So with young children, I just got her to slow her breath down and imagine coming along the top of the box to one corner on her inhale, and then exhaling, coming down the side, and then inhaling, coming along the bottom to the opposite corner, and then exhaling, coming up the other side again. So that's a very simple way of doing it. I didn't involve a count. I didn't involve holding the breath at all. That was very simple. She didn't have to start whatever corner she wished to start on, not making it too complicated. Just as she breathed, she slowly thought about moving a length of one side of a box and then across and down and across again. And so that really control the length of the breath, so making the inhale and the exhale equal and making them longer, which is a way of helping calm. And because your mind is busy visualizing and thinking about the breath at the same time, it starts to quieten all those other messy thoughts that are going. So it was really just a way to kind of go, okay, let's just take a break and we'll slow the breathing down. A practice that's quite good for us as adults is to think about this in a little bit more detail. So take an account into it as well. So we count for a count of four, inhale, and then hold for a count of four, and then exhale for a count of 4, and keep that going as a round. So coming along the top of the box for an inhale of a count of 4, a slow 4, and then hold as you slide down the side of the box for your 4, and then you're coming along the bottom as you exhale for 4, hold for 4 to come up to the side, and then inhale again as you come along. And this not only slows the breath, slows the thought patterns, it really starts to access the parasympathetic response in the body. So instead of our flight and fight and flight, we are going into the rest and digest and slowing down, which is really good for us. So the other way of doing this that I quite like myself. So this is something I've practiced myself rather than what I've taught the kids, just because I find it, yeah, it just relates to me better, is I like a circle. So I like to notice the pause between inhale and exhale. And so as I inhale, I imagine coming up round the outside of a large circle to the top. And then notice the pause between inhale and exhale as I start to exhale and come down the other side of this circle. And for me, it's a very large circle. A nice, long, full in breath. And then exhale, coming down and round to the bottom. The other way that you can do this with the circle visualization is to imagine it shrinking and expanding. So as you inhale, imagine a little dot becoming very big in a big, lovely circle, a bit like the full moon that was out the other night. And then as you exhale, it contracts into that little point, maybe a point of light is quite nice as well. And inhale, expand. And if it is light that you're imagining, you can imagine that you're bathed in the warmth of that light as well. And then as you exhale, it contracts. And so this again is about keeping your breath an equal length, inhale and exhale. And again, because you're visualizing, it's got that same, very simple, but it's a simple way of hacking into your own your own brain and getting it to calm down, because they're all busy. I don't know anyone that doesn't have a busy brain, and that you're either thinking about what you should have said, what you could have done, or what you should do, or what you haven't done yet, and putting ourselves under an awful lot of pressure that we just don't need. So just keeping it simple into a little breath practice. So the other breath practice that I just want to mention, I don't want to make this video great long, is about slowing down the exhale. So this is a very immediate way to start to access our parasympathetic nervous system and really start to, well, not to access the nervous system and trigger the parasympathetic response within that. So going for a longer exhale than inhale. So if you're counting your breath, I recommend you do. Inhale for a count of 4 possibly. And then as you exhale, you're exhaling a count of 6 or 7. And so you're trying to make that exhale quite a bit longer than the inhale. Sometimes, it would be an inhale for 3, exhale for 5, inhale 4, exhale 7. That type of ratio is what you're looking for. So you can then immediately start to slow down the breath with that long exhale, and it immediately starts to calm the body. And if you go for a very long exhale, and make sure you exhale fully and focus on the exhale rather than the inhale, because your body will naturally pull a nice big inhale in if you empty everything out. And so when we do get a little bit panicked, I've spoken to a few people, especially when we've gone for the cold water dip, is that we've got this tendency when we're in a stressful situation or putting ourselves under a little bit of pressure, and the thought of going into cold water, I tell you, it does that. And especially as the cold water touches you as well, you've got the and all your breaths up in here. So if we focus on the exhale first, you've got to take a big inhale. It's just got to come back in. And as soon as you take in that big inhale and slow the exhale out, you start to calm down. And the fuller the breath, when you're in a stressful situation, the more relaxed the body's going to be, the clearer your mind is going to be, and the easier it is for you to deal with whatever it is that's come up. So, yeah, try one, try any, try them all. It's really nice. The lengthening the exhale is a really good one for helping when you're going to sleep. The other thing that I've spoken about before is the golden thread breath. When you, on your exhale, actually blow the exhale out through slightly parted lips, and it's a very, very fine, soft blow out. And you can imagine blowing a feather or a light silk golden thread can be floating away on that long exhale, and that helps make things nice and calm. So it can help, yeah, if you're struggling to sleep. Not always, but it will help you if you stay calm, which is good. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave it here and I'll speak to you soon. Hope you have a good day.